There we go. All right, what's up, Fuse fam? We're here for another Fuse Daily Devo, and we're kind of doing something new for the next couple weeks. We're going to bring more students in. So every day, Monday to Friday, this week and next week, we're going to have Fuse students join us. So it won't just be Fuse Student Friday, but it'll be Fuse Student Devo every day. I don't know, I'll come up with a better hashtag. So today, I've got Sadie Butler and Sydney Taylor with us. So if y'all want to say hello.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Cool. Glad to have y'all. Just do a quick intro real quick. What's your name? What school do you go to? What's an interesting fact or tidbit or I don't know, something you've been doing to pass the time during quarantine?
I go to Fort Summerall East. I'm a senior this year. I am in band and I play tennis. My dad's children's pastor. Y'all know me.
I'm Sydney. I go to Francis South Central and I'm also a senior. I play tennis as well and I swim. Something that I've been recently doing is playing Fortnite. Not too proud of that, but it's something new to do and I'm getting like kind of bored with all of like the other activities I've been doing. So I've been playing Fortnite.
Good. I'm proud of you.
That is awesome. I thought Fortnite died like a year ago.
I know.
Yeah,
My
quarantine
sister
brought it back to life.
Right. My sister has been playing and she's like actually pretty good at it. So I was like, okay, I'll try. So I started trying and I suck, but it's something to try and do. I don't know.
That's awesome. Do you have because can't you customize like what your person looks like or like what outfit or skin
Yeah.
or whatever?
Well, we actually use my brother's account. So we use like all of his stuff, which is nice.
Does he know that you're using his account?
I think so. Probably.
Awesome.
I hope so.
Well, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like you haven't seen a soul, and a 1 being like this is just like life as normal, how quarantined have you been over the last 2.5 months?
Mm.
Mm, I would say like a 2 or a 3.
Okay, so you've gone out, you've seen people.
Little
A little
bit.
bit.
I would say like a 2 because of like Chick-fil-A. But as far as my friends go, it would be like a 7.
We we all knew before this whole thing that Chick-fil-A was awesome, but like man, I don't know what the last 2.5 months would have looked like without Chick-fil-A. Like I didn't go to Chick-fil-A a ton, but it was nice knowing that it was there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been telling us like how well we're doing, and if Chick-fil-A ran the drive-through testing, it would be over in a day or something like that.
I think there's truth to that.
Yeah, me too. We are pretty fast.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, hey, so both of you are seniors. You're getting ready to graduate. It sounds like your schools are trying to reschedule graduation, which is awesome. I'm really sorry you guys haven't really had that sense of closure that most seniors get this time of the year. Have been doing this thing on some of the social media accounts, the Senior Spotlight, Guess the Senior. Sid, we had yours. I think it was last week, or maybe it was the week before. You were
It
one of
was
the
a
first
couple
we
weeks
did.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadie has not been featured on that yet. Part of that is because it's hilarious to me that every person guesses every person to be Sadie, and I just want to keep that continuing.
Just keep it going.
I've been meaning to like put on every single one to guess Sadie, even though I know it's not Sadie, just to be funny.
Yeah, I think we had Maddie Payton's up there the other day, and I wanted to just comment like, "Hey, I'll guess Sadie just to get it out of the way or something."
Yeah.
Right.
So
Anyway.
funny.
Well, cool. Well, hey, we are doing the Devo. We're on week 4 of our big picture series, going through the life of Joseph. And one of the things I like about this series is each of the days, the Devos isn't necessarily from his story, but it's something that connects with whatever the main point was that week. And this week, spoiler alert, the big point, the bottom line that we're going to be talking about is when you can't see the bigger picture, trust that God is still working for your good. Really easy whenever you don't know what's going on to just forget that God's with you and that God's working. But in those moments, trust that God is working for your good. And today, the scripture passage is from the book of Psalms. It's Psalm 126. And then it's verse 3, but I'm going to go ahead and read verses 1 to 3, and then we're just going to chat about it a little bit. So Psalm 126, 1 to 3. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are glad. So that's the verse today. Hard, just in different circumstances, to when things are hurt, when they're painful, or just out of the ordinary, to find kind of, I think, joy. And so I don't know, anything stick out to you guys just from hearing that verse, reading that real quick? I don't know, any thoughts on that?
Well, I just think, like, you mentioned the topic of our midweek and just from the verse, like the different, how well we can see God working, even in this quarantine, even in this sad time of things being canceled and not being able to see people. Like, there are definitely ways that God is using it for the better. And I don't know, we will come out of it strong. We can use God during it. And it's just crazy how, like, amazing He is, no matter what. Like, we've never really, I mean, me personally, I've never truly had like such a hardship as big as this. And I've been like, oh yeah, God helped me through. God helped you through literally everything, and He's helping us through this. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just like encouraging to know that even like even though like right now we're in such like a dark place and it's really still so unknown to like basically everybody, that like even after this we're going to be filled with joy, and like we're going to like be so much more happy after this. And it's just like encouraging to know that like even though right now it's not where we want to be, but eventually we will be joyful again and happy again.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the Devo, it writes this, says, the Lord has done great things for us. No matter what is happening in our lives right now, we can look back and remember the great things that God has done for us in the past. And that will help us with our belief now, right? He can and will do great things. And what I think is crazy is that they wrote this Devo like months ago, you know, and
it's so fitting for what's happening right now.
Right. It's so fitting, right? Like, even the whole big picture idea, like we can't see the big picture and what God's doing through all of this, like, right, like we can't see it. So I do think it's helpful though, to even when we do encounter something that causes us to experience joy, or when we see God working in the midst of all of this kind of unknown, is to like just take a moment and just let it register, right? And then maybe the encouragement, to what both of y'all were saying, is that when this whole thing is over, right, like to not take for granted all of the things that we actually get to see and feel and experience again, that maybe we were either starting to take for granted or we were taking for granted.
Yeah,
I've been like realizing things that I did. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you can go.
No, you go.
Okay, I've been realizing things that I like did take for granted, like the fact that I was graduating on May 21st was just, I was graduating that day and it was happening and there's nothing that could ever change it. And like all the little things too that I just take for granted, like being able to see my friends or being able to go to school, even though I always said I hated school, now I miss it so much. It's just made me realize the things that I took for granted that I should not take for granted when I get them back.
Yeah, that's what like I was gonna say. It's just like I feel like it's easy to take for granted those things because like even like 3 months ago I would have never dreamed that like I wouldn't be able to see my friends, or like I wouldn't be able to like finish my senior year. And it's like those things that you think in life that you're going to be guaranteed to have, and it's like then those things got taken away from us, and it's just a good lesson to know not to take those things for granted anymore.
For sure.
Yeah, we assume that everything will be there, right? We assume that nothing will change. We assume that things that we're expecting to happen are going to happen. But yeah, no, that's so good. I do think it's crazy in all of this. There is maybe like a realignment, or at least it like helps us understand or think about like what's truly important, right? Like, and yes, ceremony is important and closure is important, but like, I don't know, whenever I think about Psalm 126, in verse 2, right, it says, "And our mouth was filled with laughter, our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them." So the nations were talking about the people of God and recognizing that God has done good things for his people. And then there's the recognition on the part of God's people. The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. So it is interesting how sometimes, even in the midst of all these things, that like other people have not even necessarily better perspective. They just have a different perspective on even how God is working in your life, right? And so like, while it might be hard to recognize or see that for ourselves, other people, right? They can speak that into us and they can encourage us and they can see it. And there's also like this even reminder, this like, you guys know me, I'm always going to bring it back to mission if I can, right? Like God does great things for his people and he's working for his people, not just for our betterment, but also because we get to participate in this whole mission thing somehow. And so anyway, that's so good. Any lasting thoughts?
I mean, I really like what you said about mission too, because like, I don't know, there's few people that can say they were a senior in 2020 and had to go through what we're going through. And then also like this story is going to be so powerful of how we got through it, because I guaranteed the class of 2021 even is like, how are you guys doing this? And I can say, God, like truly, if I didn't have God, I would probably be the most angry person ever right now. But I just know that I have that joy and that hope for tomorrow.
Right. And even just like knowing that like you're not alone, like every other senior is going through the same thing. So it's kind of encouraging to know like you're not alone and you have other people experiencing the same thing. And even if you're not a senior, like there's still people feeling the same feelings as you.
For sure.
So good. Yeah. And just kind of to piggyback on that, what you just said in verse 3, right? The Lord has done great things for us, right? It's like a plural there, right? It's not just the Lord has done great things for me, right? It's the Lord has done great things for us, and he truly is working collectively for us all. So, well, cool. Hey, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet. Looking forward to seeing you and hanging out in person, hopefully.
Yes.
Sure.
Hopefully in not too long.
Yes.
Awesome.